Okay, mayong hapon sa tanan. Um, I think we could start already. Majority are here in the Google Meet already. Madunggan ra ko?
Yes, sir.
Sige, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Sige, so we shall continue with our discussion. But later on, I will be asking some of you to present your output previously, no, especially with where we left with our discussion. My apologies again, no, for not being able to meet you these past few weeks, no. Sunod-sunod lang sad ang mga activities nga mo conflict sa tuwang schedule. But then again, previously we discussed on the different mathematical models, and then let me share my screen sa kadali ha. Can you share my screen? I mean, can you see my screen? Kita ra ba? So if you can see my screen, basically, no, previously we discussed on the different applications of the mathematical model, and then some of these applications are primarily on simulation, and then prediction and forecasting, which is what we will be discussing this afternoon, no? And prognostics and diagnostics, even design and performance evaluation. We can also use mathematical models as well as control system design. In fact, after our discussion on forecasting, later on, or if not next week, no, we will discuss on control system na design primarily on block diagrams and signal flow graph, no. So other than simulation, one of the main uses, of mathematical modeling is really for prediction and forecasting. And then some applications include, especially in your field, no, construction project management, wherein we try to forecast the project cost and timelines, no, to manage the budgets and schedules and prevent delays. I'm not sure whether you were able already to use some forecasting models, no, in your field, especially for project management. And then we also have structural health monitoring, wherein we try to predict and forecast, no, some structural issues, maybe some fatigue, cracks that would enable proactive maintenance and improve public safety. For geotechnical engineering, so we try to model soil behavior to predict ground stability for safe foundation design and landslide prevention. And then for traffic and transportation planning, which is also um, one aspect of your field, the civil engineering, no. So we also use mathematical model to forecast the traffic flow to optimize transportation networks and improve urban mobility. And then hydrology, for hydrology and water resources management, we try to predict, no, water levels to manage floods and ensure a stable um, water supply. So in different aspects of civil engineering, may it be geotechnical or structural, I believe forecasting is also a relevant application or topic, no, under mathematical um, modeling. So especially, for example, on applications like flood forecasting, so that's also one, no. um, Even when we try to design drainage and mga dam, so some project engineers would also try to forecast the rainfall intensity, no. They try to project that one. Even for structural related na mga projects, especially on earthquake risk, no. So some project engineers, civil engineers, structural engineers would try to forecast that one. For coastal areas, no, sea level rise projections are also being forecasted, no. So um, basically, we try to forecast these areas, no, especially when we try to design infrastructures or structures which are really climate resilient, no, especially in like for example in our context, no, we are pretty much kana bitong prone to these calamities and extreme events. So that's why forecasting really is also very important, no. I mentioned earlier on construction planning and project management. Forecasting also is very relevant and important, no. Like I mentioned about the costing, the timelines, those are areas that could be um, forecasted, no. So for project timelines, for example, we try to forecast the weather conditions. Okay, this will basically affect, no, or whether it will delay baka our projects, no. So even for hazard monitoring, especially for geodetic engineering and geotechnical applications, no. So we also try to forecast even kanang for example mga landslide na mga movements, those can also be forecasted, or even when we try to predict mga coastal erosions, no. Even for urban and regional planning, those are also some applications for forecasting knowledge. Say, for example, we try to forecast expansion in urban areas or city, kana siya, no, and also included earlier in my example traffic and transportation planning, so that's also one example, no. So right now I'd like to see your actual application. I asked you to do your research, no, as to how can you apply forecasting in your own field, no. So I'd like to check your output, no. I'll base it na lang sa submissions ninyo sa Google Classroom. So let me check it here. Sige. Mag-call na lang siguro ko randomly from each section siguro. I-present lang siguro ninyo mga sir o ma'am ang inyong output sa inyong gikandak nga kuano initial research as to applications of forecasting in your own field, no. Sige. We can start with sige, ato ta sa structural nga group siguro, no. Sige, Engineer Dadole, Carl, sir, nakakadira, sir. Wala. Sige, how about so may mga naa diri. Engineer Bobadilla, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir. Can
Good
you share
afternoon.
your screen, sir?
Yes, sir. Sir, ano ako, sir, if makashare ba ko kay, hinay kayo ang
Sige.
signal dito sa kuha.
If mo okay, if mo pilit na, sir, I can share what you submitted siguro. Sige, try lang, sir. By the way, this is additional graded recitation na, just in case you'd like to present your output. So I'd like to focus more on the actual application ninyo, no. Not so much more na siguro on the definition of terms siguro. So especially on actual applications ninyo, no. Sige, Sir Mark, I think we could see your screen already. If imo siyang ma-maximize siguro. Sige, palihog ko og share screen, sir.
How about this one, sir?
Okay, sir. Sige. Kita na.
Makita ka, sir?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
based sa kato ko na research diri kay, so diri lang ko mag-focus, sir, ha, sa ah, transportation engineering, tapos ang isa na ko na research kay about just sa structural. Pero
Okay, sir.
mag-focus sa diri sa structural.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
So one application is uh, according to my research, using the so-called Monte Carlo simulation technique, employing the specific approach of fatigue reliability assessment. So according to this researcher, as traffic load increases due to increasing vehicular size, a significant fatigue is experienced by the steel bridge, which can result in excessive deflection, lateral torsional buckling, and failure in connections. So dere, uh, gi-predict dere, no, based sa traffic loads na, no, kung mag-increase itong traffic loads, there is a significant fatigue na ma-experience sa atuang uh, steel, steel members, particularly sa steel bridges. Moreover, the number of vehicles passing in a bridge are expected to increase exponentially in annual basis, which means that a heavier load is expected to be induced onto the steel bridge structures. Now, hence, it is a time for civil engineers in the modern world to design resilient steel bridges capable to handle different and increasing traffic load to ensure structural safety of the commuters who are using the structure. So, dire, gigamitan siya og Monte Carlo nga simulation technique, which is kaning Monte Carlo is under siya dire, oh, sa simulation and probabilistic forecasting modeling. So, this one. Na. And also, one of the applications ani nga simulation di ay is mao lagi to. Uh, katong sa mga steel bridges na mo to siya, sir. Char.
Okay,
Sakto ba
sir.
yung pasabot, sir, nga na?
So basically, sir, no, ang imong gipakita nga example for forecasting is Monte Carlo simulation technique, no, which is quite common, no, in especially in different journals and researches. Um, so as I mentioned earlier, especially for um, civil engineering related na applications, that's one type of forecasting, no, which can be used, no. Okay, thank you, Sir Mark.
Okay,
Um,
sir.
Sige, how about sa may mga naapa dire? Sige, engineer na mo kat, sir. Can you also present briefly your output? Engineer, sa ni pag-pronounce gani sa imong name, Lenserfin. Engineer na mo kat, sir. Can you also present your output? or any volunteer perhaps? By the way, Sir Mark, kuan maka no? Structural maka nga kuan no? Track no? Okay, para ma-list na ako. Sige sir, namo cut. Pwede ka right after this one na lang. Other volunteer would like to present their output. Focus lang mo siguro sa application. This is added grade sa inyong ano, extra grade. Sige, or mag-call na lang siguro ko, no? Um, how about Sir Ace Pabalate, sir? Sige, anyone? Ma'am Dea, you'd like to cite another example? It's okay, okay ra. Would you like to volunteer?
Guys, pa-quiet ko kadjat guys. Hello, sir, good evening. Sir, wala na may minus dili mo example, sir ba?
Okay lang man, okay ra.
Sige, sir. I would like
What
to
I'm after man pod kay mga examples, ikaw mo man gina makahatag mas og mas concrete gid nga example sa inyong application.
Okay, sir. Please allow me to share my screen, sir. Lang po, sir, ha?
Sige, ma'am. For recording purposes, ma'am, structural track magyapon ka, ma'am, no?
Yes, sir. I'm from 1B, sir. 1B.
1B.
Structural.
Same with Sir Mark.
Yes, sir.
Sige, sige.
Yes, sir.
Sige, I'm taking
Sige po, sir.
down your names.
Sir, I would like to have your confirmation, sir, if my...
Yes, makita na, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, for a while, sir, ha? Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir, and to all my classmates. As for my forecasting methods na application under the civil engineering, so allow me to discuss to you. Actually, in the notes that I prepared, I also defined the differences between, the foundations of forecasting and its core concept. And aside from that, I have also provided an overview to this. Afterwards, Mr. had to, to other parts of my lecture because I would like to focus more on the civil engineering application, sir, ha, if that's all right with you, sir. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so again, okay, sir. Again, there are two types of forecasting based on the research that I did. These are the quantitative and the other one is the and here are some of the few common techniques and as well as the quantitative. Okay, let's go to the application, role of forecasting in civil engineering. So, as discussed earlier, Sir Bahuyo, definitely it has been proven that forecasting is indeed widely used in our field, not only limited to our major, which is the structural, but is also applicable to other fields such as the geotechnical, as well as the project management, as well as the hydraulics engineering. So, in this case, I have also cited here the different forecasting applications with regards to the civil engineering. So the example that I have cited or the relevant studies are that I have incorporated in my study is in the field of transportation engineering. Trivia po, I actually handled transportation engineering last mid-year as my part-time subject. And one of the discussion is the topic, the travel demand forecasting. So I have cited it here as an example. So travel demand forecasting has four uh, per se parts, which is the as you can see in your screen, it's the trip generation, distribution, mode choice, and as well as the trip assignment. So definition of each of these parts are here. So per se, let's differentiate muna the trip generation. So from the name itself, it predicts the number of trips produced or attracted in a specific area. When you compare it to trip distribution, it matches trip origins with destinations. Third portion here, which is the mode choice, it determines the type of transportation that the users would like to use. May it be like the car, bus, rails, and etc. And for the trip assignment, it basically it's the designation or assignment of the trips for each of different modes. So that's the gist of the travel demand forecasting under the transportation engineering. So another, I mean, actually in relation to that, a journal research conducted by these authors, no, this study is entitled "Enhancing the Travel Demand Forecasting Using CDR," which is a stay-based integration. So actually, aside from the fact that it uses yet the travel demand forecasting, it integrates the called data a detail record, which is published in this website. So another example, this is by the way the reference that I had, the link of the reference I had, and last example, sir, is the in relation to hydrology, which is the return period forecasting. So aside from the fact that, well, in hydrology and water resources engineering, there is this so-called portion wherein a rainfall frequency analysis conducted. In this regard or in this concept, a return period or basically the recurrence interval is analyzed or computed. So it has this actually formula of P is equals to 1 over P, where P is the return period, or I mean the probability of the occurrence of the said amount of rainfall. So I think that's the gist. The study, I actually cited, included here, an example of a comparison with the return period and maximum flood, which is in the units of cubic meter per second, and as well as the other one is in terms of years. So I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a French name. He studied about the estimation of return periods in hydrology. So again, those are the journal researches that I had cited. So first, to summarize it, example in relation to civil engineering is actually the travel demand forecasting under the transportation engineering, and the second one is the forecasting of return period under the hydrology and water resources engineering. So I think that would be all for and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Deya. Those are very concrete applications to your field, though. Especially you mentioned earlier about traffic engineering, no? Forecasting is really related to that. You also mentioned earlier, no, some examples for forecasting methods. Pinaka common gid kaayo, especially the traditional ones are I don't know if you've heard about and I think tamay Ma'am Diego. So those are traditional na mga forecasting methods for simple patterns. If you are interested po, maybe you could also dig deeper to, I don't know if you're related gyapon siya sa forecasting, but in recent in recent years, usually machine learning is now commonly used, no, especially for time series na mga forecasting. Effective siya especially when you try to um look into mga patterns which are more complex, no, and non-linear. So for example, naay dagan factors or variables nga would influence the system. Let's say for example sa inyo nga field, no, when you try to predict, baka for example kuan kay issue kay lately with katong mga landslide na nahitabo sa Cebu for example. So different variables perhaps na tan-aw na to ana is could be ang rainfall, it could be ang moisture sa yuta, or it could be ang slope, or it could be the vegetation, no, kay katulagi giupaw na ang bukid for example. So those are different variables. So ang machine learning could be a good tool to um, use, especially when you try to also forecast, no, kana bitong system which is influenced by many variables. Basically ang machine learning, it's also a subfield of kana AI or artificial intelligence, no, kay um, you already learn sa existing nga mga data, that you i-identify niya ang patterns based on that data and try to make predictions and decisions later on, which is based on that pre-program na data. So if interested mo later on, kung mag-propose na mo og topic pod sa inyong thesis, and then interested mo og mga machine learning related na mga topic, I think kuan kay no, wide kaayo ang possibilities for machine learning related na mga topics for civil engineering applications, no. Okay, sige, thank you Ma'am Dea for that presentation. Sige, napabay kuan, si Sir Engineer na mo cut sir, no. Sir, okay na ba imong audio, sir?
Good. Good
Mura
time,
og
sir.
muted
Ikaw, sir.
sige, aka na medyo madunggan na.
Meron na ako, sir. Sige, sir. Share screen ko. So, good afternoon. So, share lang ako ng on research about the study Gurbani. So, yang use ang he apply they apply the hybrid artificial neural network ANN with integrated with a Firefly optimization algorithm. So based ato na network, so nag-apply sila og kaning Firefly optimization algorithm na kung ikaw na to into pseudocode, so murag nagamit based sa discuss kayo na ni sir, so murag nagamit sa machine learning. So to forecast pan evaporation, which is a critical variable in hydrology and irrigation projects. So kani siya na model kay nag-demonstrate of high accuracy compared to traditional regression and time series methods. So ang kani siya na nag-illustrate na ang machine learning, so sa pag-forecast kay in terms sa sa ganina. So as uban sa traffic, so dako jud tab sa
Kaya nga mga topic for possible research gani or thesis ninyo later on, no. Engineer na mo cut about kung ano optimization ng mga algorithms. Actually daghan pa kain na siya optimization depending on the type of application that you will incorporate that optimization, no. So kana if interested mo na nga topic, so that could also become a good thesis topic later on, no? Okay, thank you sir for that presentation. Sige, I could entertain siguro two more volunteers perhaps na gusto mag-present sa ilahang output sa ilang na research so far nga applications of forecasting or even machine learning or optimization in their field. Sige, na pa ba other volunteer? sa may mga nag-submit na diribe. Sir Justin Gonzalez, sir, would you like to present your output?
Good evening, sir. Am I
Okay.
audible po?
Yes,
Pwede mo
sir.
direct, sir, sa research, itong application.
Yes, sir. Okay ra, sir. Mausad ang mas interested ko makadungog.
Makita ra, sir, ako ang presentation.
Yes, sir. Makita ra.
So, based on the instruction, gipang out, nag-ask og isa ka application or research journals, but I presented here two kay duha ako nakita, sir, one for a quantitative forecasting method and one is for qualitative. So this one, for the topic health and environment sanitation in India, issues for prioritizing control strategies. This is I believe this is a qualitative forecasting method, which the main problem is that the environmental sanitation is a major public health issue in India. The increased number of population and industrialization are all responsible to the dramatic changes. It leads to poor sanitation that link to transmission of diseases in the community by means of contaminated water consumption. The unsanitary conditions are appalling in India and needs a great sanitary awakening. Then the objective of the study is that to identify existing system of environmental sanitation with respect to its structure and functioning and prioritize the control strategies according to the need of the country and to generate new strategies and targeted interventions with follow-up evaluation. And then for the methodology or the procedural tools, the intervention strategy is that a demand-driven approach, referring to the people to take the responsibility as expected to improve the other water supply problem or the necessity rather than relying on government services. And then the community-led total sanitation, which resulted that the behavioral change, especially in rurals, this include improving sanitation, hygiene practices, and another one is a public-private partnership to improve the continuity of urban water supply, and then the use of microcredit to women improve access to water, where the microcredit means extension of microloans for women designed to support any entrepreneurship and alleviate poverty, and then a community-based management approach integrating and policy making as a whole. And for the key findings, results or recommendations, for develop information system both national and state levels, a need for organized and reorient institutional arrangement sectors, a need for maintaining existing infrastructure, need to reiterate both rural and urban water supply sanitation agencies, and then existing both health and education programs should be implemented, achieving behavior changes, improving hygiene for locals. And then for the gap of the study, the future studies would suggest focus on solid waste management, where improper disposal is one of the major concerns that make the water contaminated that result in spreading of disease. Lastly, local discipline, both public and private sectors for the sake of environment rather than relying on the government. And then the other study is that uh, in connection also in environmental engineering, connected to structural engineering or construction, is that BIM based or building integration model based environmental impact assessment for infrastructure design projects, uh, infrastructure projects, where the main problem is that environmental impact assessment become the value of interest the construction industry due to its significance in the science decision concerning environmental performance of infrastructure projects. However, it's only performed at the end of the design cycle, done with an expert, and with the modification of the design is costly and time consuming. So recently, BIM integrates environmental impact assessment in designing practices, and it's resulted with a limitation regarding the approach. This includes lack of explicit data structure, it limits the interoperability and flexibility of environmental impact assessment tools to accommodate different data based on mostly integration of EIA and is not bidirectional. It resulted to the incapacity of the designers to visualize the result immediately. This approach is rarely uh, in infrastructure projects due to its limitation. And then for its objective or purpose of the study, to develop a continuous BIM-based EIA for infrastructure project that utilize an explicit data structure such as systematically integrate data from various sources, enable bidirectional data exchange between BIM and EIA. So for its methodology, creating framework. So this is a quantitative forecasting method where they're based on their methodology, creating a framework based on the concept of automating and integrating the EIA and BIM environment. So for the data collection, this phase aims to collect the required data to perform BIM-based EIA to be able to incorporate the environmental impact of each element in BIM model. First, a comprehensive quantity take-off must be carried out to identify the different materials used in different elements of the project. Next, is the supplier of each material needs to be determined. The information about the supplier is more important to measure the transportation distance of the material to the construction site, followed by a data integration where the structure the data based on the presentation ontology, the process of using this ontology to the map relevant in the purpose in the proposed structure, the material quantities are extracted from the BIM model. These data are then merged with extracted or anticipated transportation distances. Next, the expected life and the values of the following are extracted from the EIA database. The phase-specific EIS values are then integrated with the quantity and transportation data calculate relative and cumulative. Then EIS of each material, these values are then imported back to the BIM model using uh, this of each material. And then for the environmental impact assessment, to calculate the EIS for construction for each material, and then the operation and maintenance for each material, and then the end of life for each material, and then the total project. And then for visualization to facilitate and integrate towards the EIA in the design process of infrastructure, with the following: register EIA material in the model, generated detailed report, generate visualization for each phase of the project, and then for the implementation and case study to evaluate the proposed framework, a tool was developed as an application that integrates the EIA in the design phase of the infrastructure by validation, EIA accuracy, time saving, user experience, and usability. So for its proposed framework and application have shown the BIM environment is able to facilitate an automated and integrated EIA in the infrastructure design. An accurate BIM-based EIA is much faster than the current highly fragmented EIA processes. A visual presentation of EIA results to allow designers to easily pinpoint high contributing model elements that to the total EIS and use this information in the decision-making process. So for the gap, although this developed tool presented can already be seen as useful tool for more sustainable infrastructure, it still presents few limitations. Future research work on integrating sustainability aspects in the design process of infrastructure through BIM can be focused on calculating and presenting the environmental performance of an infrastructure design based by means of multiple impact categories, and then including more sustainability aspects such as, for instance, social and economic pillars and the information required from the BIM model, and developing direct connection between BIM software and the environmental database to further improve the integration of the platform. and then extending the applicability of the proposed framework to other geographical contexts. So this is my output, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sir Justin. By the way, sir, unsa ka nga track gani, sir?
Track A, sir.
1A, you mean
Structural.
1A? Structural
Yes, sir.
gyapon, no? Si Engineer na mo katkat ganina, sir. Unsa ka nga track gani, sir? Structural gyapon ka, sir, no? Track
Yes, sir. 1A.
track 1, 1A.
1A, sir.
Okay. Sige. I'd like to highlight lang what Sir Justin shared earlier, no, about I think I saw in his presentation earlier about demand-driven approach, especially katong yung first nga gipakita nga example, which is an article, a journal based in India related to health. So ang katong demand driven approach, to add to that explanation, no. So daghan mga approaches in forecasting. I think napoy nag-mention kanina about qualitative o quantitative na types of forecasting, no, whether it's subjective or objective. So ang driven approach, this is a type of forecasting which really based on real demand signals, no. So kung ang traditional nga forecasting is more on reactive siya, si demand driven approach is really more proactive, no. So for example, no, concrete nga mga example ana, for example sa traffic, um, so a demand-driven approach type of forecasting, let's say for example, imong tan-awon ang let's say mag-incorporate ba kag let's say for example sensor or camera tapos ihapon niya ang number of vehicles bakaha nga moagi ani nga particular let's say dalan or let's say intersection perhaps, no. So um, if that is the case, usually for example on during mga buntag kung rush hour baka siya for example, so perhaps i-extend baka nimo ang kana bitong go nga signal or green light, especially in those areas or in those roads nga busy kaayo, daghan kaayo ang volume sa vehicles, no. So that's one concrete example of demand driven na forecasting approach for traffic engineering, no. So for example sa kana bitawng sa water district, for example kana mga pumps perhaps, no. So siguro ang higher baka nga demand most likely is sa buntag kay mo man nga time nga kanang daghan trabahante or estudyante nga mga ligo. So most likely ang the pumps would operate at higher rates during that particular hour. So um, a demand-driven approach would look into real-time nga consumption data, no. So based sa imong pag-monitor, buntag di ay ang taas kaayo ang volume of water nga gaka-consume kay users. So imo na siyang gamiton na dayon as prediction nimo by the next day nga kanidi nga particular RDI is nako ang volume sa tubig nga gagagamit. So that's another example sa demand-driven approach. So unconsciously siguro na uban engineers nga are already incorporating man the demand-driven forecasting approach, no. Siguro pod sa inyong trabaho pod tingali most likely basi nakagamit na pod mo og forecasting, no, unconsciously, no. So kana siya, that's one those are some examples, no, for demand-driven approach type of forecasting. Sige, I think I could entertain another one, presenter sa iyang output. Sige, Ma'am Haname, ma'am, you'd like to present your output?
Good evening, Doc. Wait lang.
Share your screen, ma'am. Recap lang na ako ang nag-present ganina si Engineer Bobadilla, Ma'am Dea Denlaza, Engineer Namo Katkat, o Engineer Gonzales. Okay, ma'am.
Say prepare.
Sige ma'am, whenever you're ready, i-share screen lang imong presentation.
Nakita ng slide, sir.
On my end ma'am, di pa nako makita. I'm not sure with the others. I think wala pa yata.
Try ako ulit.
I-share na lang imuhang entire window siguro ma'am.
Ito na siya, sir.
Kana makita na ma'am. Pero i-open na lang imong file na lang dayon.
Ay, wala na.
Ang makita na mo ma'am is ang imuhang screen.
So, karon sir, makita na siya, sir.
Yes ma'am, makita na mo imuhang kuan. Kaning downloaded ni mga file.
So, I'm from Geotechnical Track 2. So, for my case study, so case 1 is ground instability forecasting using INSAR and LSTM by Mir Mazlumi et al. In 2023. So, for the overview of this case study, Mir Mazlumi and colleagues in 2023 developed a forecasting model that combines satellite radar data, INSAR, and the long-term memory or LSTM neutral network to predict the ground instability in mining areas. So INSAR or Interferometric Synthetic Aperture Radar provides the highly accurate ground displacement measurements over time, while LSTM models are effective at recognizing long-term dependencies and patterns in time series data. So for the methodology, so for input data, insert time series deformation data from mining sites in Spain and Italy, and then the model used is the LSTM neutral network trained to predict future ground displacement based on historical data. And for validation, the model's prediction were compared against the actual INSAR observation using the accuracy metrics like RMSE and NAPE. So for the findings, the LSTM model successfully forecast the deformation trends several weeks ahead with high accuracy, and it captured both slow, progressive subsidence and sudden deformation events that traditional linear models often miss. And the approach proved valuable for early warning systems in ground instability monitoring. So, for the relevance to civil engineering, so this study demonstrates how geodetic data from satellites or GNSS and AI models can be combined for real-time hazard prediction, so such forecasts help engineers design mitigation strategies for slope failures, mine subsidence, and foundation instability, which are key concerns in both civil and geotechnical works. So another study is pavement conditions prediction using machine learning by Ahmed in 2024. So he focused on forecasting the structural conditions of pavements using RF or random forest and extreme gradient boosting or XGBoost models. So the study compared these two popular machine learning algorithms to determine which more accurately predicts pavement deterioration over time. So for the input data, pavement condition data including structural number, traffic loading, and environmental factors such as the temperature and moisture. And then for the model use, they use the random forest, an assembled model that combines multiple decision trees to reduce variance and improve prediction stability. And then they also use XGBoost, a gradient boosting technique that optimizes prediction errors, iteratively higher accuracy, and for validation, RMSE, or the coefficient of determination, to assess the performance. So for the findings, both RF and XGBoost provided strong predictive capabilities that XGBoost outperformed RF in accuracy and computational efficiencies. So the study found that pavement performance is strongly influenced by traffic load intensity and environmental conditions. And lastly, the models can predict the remaining service life of pavement sections and identify areas needing early maintenance. So for the relevance to the field, this research highlights how machine learning can be used to forecast infrastructure deterioration, allowing engineers and planners to make data-driven maintenance decisions And in genetic terms, such forecasting models can integrate with spatial databases such as GIS to produce condition maps that visualize infrastructure health across regions. So that are the two studies I read for this assignment.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Let's get imong first journal na nasan kanina kato nag-aaral ito og INSAR og tama kay gisan kanina about no. I think that was your first journal
Oh, yes.
incorporate the then LSTM. Um, kuan gud siya if you incorporate those two no. Kay kung si INSAR man gud detection meaning unsay present nga condition whereas si LTM diri mo come in dayon si forecasting no so unsay future what will happen next no so that's why that's a good study no kay kana bitong gi-incorporate niya both detection and forecasting again no ang difference nilang duha sa detection unsay nahitabo sa present and even considering what happened in the past unya si kuan dayon si forecasting is of course what will happen in the future and then tapos si INSAR is one example in looking into unsay nahitabo sa present or mainly on detection and then kato si LSTM together with other nga mga traditional forecasting method, mga time series, katong mga ARIMA. So gamit kaayo to siya for prediction and forecasting. So kana siya sa inyong study later on kung ganahan mo magamit o kana bitawng forecasting, maybe you can also consider doing some detection pud no. Um, especially sa inyong nga case pod labi na sa civil engineering no because aside sa i-try ninyo predict ang possible conditions in the future part man sad sa inyong assessment pod is unsay current pod nga conditions no let's say for example katong with what happened recently sa katong earthquake no so ang mga structural engineers definitely nag-conduct sila og kanang site assessment so that is one example sa detection ilang gi-identify unsay current na mga conditions. So kung mag-incorporate ka na og kanang machine learning, so maybe INSAR could be one no. And then with that detection nimo nga gikandak, so ang next step would be prediction. So forecasting no unsay possible na mga future conditions no. Okay. Sige, I think we have sufficient examples already as presented by um, Sir Mark, Ma'am Dea, Sir Namukatkat, and then Sir Gonzales, and then Ma'am Padilla. Okay, so for next meeting, we'll end by 6:30. For next meeting, kindly prepare koan traditional sa ta pen and paper. So palihog ko og ready og kanang clean nga paper because we'll do kuano solving next meeting so para atong kinamuton siya og sulat kay para ato lang mapakita din ang ato ang solutions in class no so palihog na lang ko og prepare na lang dayon for next meeting okay so I'm not sure with regards to tong schedule but I guess that the next meeting will be our last session because pag abot sa December first week, let me check the calendar. I think magkuha na dayon. Finals na dayon right after that. Yeah, so finals week na dayon the week after that no. So most likely next week will be our last session. Okay? Sige. Daghan yata ang absent this afternoon no. Pero sige lang. So kindly inform na lang your classmates that we will be having our last session next meeting. Sige. If wala na questions, do you have any questions before I end? Mag-screenshot lang ko for documentation and attendance.
Sir, good evening. Pwede mag-ask, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, na-mute man ko.
Kanang, sir, with regard sa... Ay, sir, madunggan ako, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Madungan ra.
Okay. With regards to next week's schedule, sir, nga mag pen and paper ta, sir, may we ask if unsay topic sa ato ang i-solve para maka-advance tingali ni saan?
Kuan, ma'am. We'll do block diagram reduction, ma'am, atong next nga final discussion.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Because the goal is, as I mentioned during the start, no, part of mathematical model, okay, in one block, the goal is sulod ana is your mathematical model, no. So that's why kung nakay multiple blocks, ato siyang i-reduce into one single block, and inside that block is your final mathematical model dayon. Sige. And then for your final requirement, same gyapon na itong midterm, I won't require you with an exam. So, na lang ko ipasubmit lang dayon sa inyo sa to ang Google Classroom na lang dayon. Okay, if wala na yung questions, I'll dismiss you early and enjoy the rest of the night. See you next week.